I notice things. It's what I do for a living. Systems analysis, pattern recognition, anomaly detection. When something breaks the expected sequence, I flag it. When data doesn't match historical trends, I investigate. I approach problems methodically, without emotion, because feelings corrupt logic. So when Sarah starts wearing perfume to buy groceries, I notice. It's a Tuesday evening in October when she kisses my cheek goodbye and tells me she's running to the store for milk. The scent hits me immediately, something floral and expensive that I don't recognize. Not the vanilla body spray she usually wears, not the light lavender she puts on for work. This is deliberate, intentional. "New perfume?" I ask, looking up from my laptop. She pauses at the door, hand on the knob. "Just trying something different," she says. Her voice is steady, but she doesn't turn around. I file that away too. When she returns an hour later with a single gallon of milk that should have taken 15 minutes to acquire, the scent is gone, scrubbed away. But I can smell soap on her hands when she reaches past me for a glass of water. I don't ask where she's been. I just start paying attention. The changes come in small increments, like water slowly heating to a boil. She stops looking at me when we talk. Not obviously. She still nods, still responds appropriately. But her eyes focus on my forehead, my shoulder, anywhere but direct contact. I time it without thinking, the way I time everything. Our conversations used to include 3 to 4 seconds of sustained eye contact. Now it's less than 1. Her phone develops a password. She mentions it casually while scrolling through emails one evening, something about work security requirements. But she types it with her thumb covering the screen, a deliberate shield I've never seen before. "They're really cracking down on data protection," she says, not looking up. I nod. I understand data protection better than most people, I think to myself. I also understand that her law firm isn't the type to mandate personal device encryption for paralegals. The gym schedule changes. Tuesday and Thursday evenings become Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings. She leaves at 8 and returns around 11, hair damp, cheeks flushed, explaining how much better the early sessions are. Less crowded, better equipment availability. "You should try morning workouts," she says, toweling her hair. "Really gets your metabolism going." I smell the perfume again. Faint, but present, mixing with what should be sweat, but isn't quite. It's too clean, too floral. Gym sweat has a specific scent profile: salt, exertion, industrial air freshener. This is something else. I don't accuse her. I just start documenting. The pillow talk disappears first. We used to lie in bed after sex and talk about nothing. Her day, my projects, weekend plans, random observations. Comfortable silence punctuated by lazy conversation. Now she rolls away immediately, checks her phone, or suddenly remembers something she needs to do. "I should set the coffee maker for tomorrow," she'll say, slipping out of bed while I'm still catching my breath. The frequency drops next. From 3 times a week to twice, then once, then twice a month, with gaps that stretch longer each time. When we do have sex, she's present but distant, technically engaged but mentally elsewhere. I find myself analyzing her responses like system diagnostics. Her breathing pattern changes on a Thursday night in November, too controlled, too measured, like she's performing a function rather than experiencing it. Her hands move differently, positioning me rather than pulling me closer. I don't mention it. I just note the timestamp and duration. She starts taking calls in the other room. "Work calls," she explains, pacing in the kitchen while I watch television. But I catch fragments through the wall. Laughter that sounds nothing like her professional voice. Long pauses that don't match the rhythm of business conversation. "Mm-hmm," she says. And there's something in that sound I don't recognize. Something breathless and private. When she returns, her cheeks are pink and she avoids eye contact completely. "Everything okay at work?" I ask. "Fine. Just busy season coming up," she responds. But it's December, and her firm doesn't have busy seasons the way accounting firms do. Tax law is steady year-round. I start keeping a simple spreadsheet, not because I'm paranoid, but because data doesn't lie. Column A, date. Column B, anomalous behavior. Column C, duration. Column D, additional notes. December 3rd, perfume for grocery run, 47 minutes for milk purchase. December 7th, Saturday gym session, returned with coffee breath despite claiming workout. December 12th, phone call in kitchen, 23 minutes, laughter audible. December 15th, sex initiated by her for first time in 6 weeks, felt performative. The pattern emerges slowly, like a photograph developing in chemicals. Each data point is insignificant alone, but together they form a clear image. Sarah is having an affair. I don't feel rage when I reach this conclusion. I don't feel betrayed or heartbroken or any of the emotions I expected. I feel something colder and more focused. I feel like a problem has been identified and now requires a solution. She's sitting on the couch next to me on a Thursday night in December, scrolling through her phone while we watch a movie neither of us is really following. The light from the screen illuminates her face, and I study her profile with the same attention I'd give a system schematic. She's beautiful. I've always known that, but I'm seeing it differently now. The way she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's concentrating. The small scar on her chin from childhood. The way her mouth curves slightly when she reads something that amuses her. Someone else is seeing these things too. Someone else is learning her patterns, her preferences, her responses. Someone else is collecting data about my wife. "I'm going to bed," she says, standing and stretching. "I'll be up in a few minutes," I reply. She leans down and kisses the top of my head, a gesture so familiar and routine that it should feel comforting. Instead, it feels like part of her performance, maintaining appearances, keeping the system running while she operates a parallel process in the background. I watch her walk upstairs, noting the slight sway in her hips, the careful way she places her feet on each step. Everything about her movement suggests someone who's very aware of being observed. After her footsteps fade and I hear the bedroom door close, I open my laptop and update the spreadsheet. The entries are getting longer, more detailed, more damning. I don't feel angry. I feel methodical. I don't feel hurt. I feel prepared. I close the laptop and sit in the dark living room, listening to the familiar sounds of our house settling for the night. Water running through pipes as she brushes her teeth. The creak of floorboards as she moves around the bedroom. The soft thud of the bathroom door closing. In the morning, I'll continue gathering data. I'll observe and document and build a case that no amount of denial can challenge. Not because I want to catch her, but because I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with before I decide how to respond. The data doesn't lie, and soon, I'll have enough data to act. The opportunity presents itself on a Tuesday evening in January. Sarah announces she's taking a bath, something she does when she's stressed, usually with wine and a book. I hear the water running upstairs, smell the lavender bath salts she keeps under the sink. Her phone sits on the kitchen counter next to her keys and purse. She forgot to take it with her. Or maybe she didn't forget. Maybe she's finally getting careless. I don't hesitate. This isn't about violating her privacy. Privacy died the moment she started lying about Saturday morning workouts. This is about confirming what I already know so I can stop pretending I don't know it. The phone unlocks to her messages. Her recent conversations are exactly what I expect. Her sister, her mother, a group chat with college friends. But there's another thread that doesn't belong. A contact labeled J with no last name, no photo. Just an initial that could be anyone. I scroll up through their message history. The early texts are innocent enough. Work references, casual check-ins. But they evolve quickly into something else entirely. "Miss you already. From yesterday at 11:47 a.m. Can't stop thinking about Saturday. From her, Sunday at 9:23 p.m. When can I see you again? From him, this morning at 7:15 a.m. Saturday. The gym day that isn't really the gym. I scroll further back, looking for the beginning. The first message is from November 18th. Nice meeting you today. Coffee soon? Simple. Professional. The kind of message that could mean anything. But by November 25th, last night was incredible. By December 2nd, I can't get enough of you. By December 15th, send me another picture. My hands are steady as I continue scrolling. I'm not shaking with rage or fighting back tears. I'm collecting evidence with the same calm precision I'd use to troubleshoot a server crash. Then I find the video. It's buried in their message thread from 3 days ago, sent from her to him with the caption, "Wish you were here instead." I tap the play button. The footage is grainy, obviously shot with her phone camera in low light. But the location is unmistakable. Our bedroom, our bed, our sheets. Sarah is alone in the frame, positioned in a way that suggests she's performing for the camera. For him. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is her voice. The sounds she makes, the things she says. They're familiar because they're the same sounds she makes with me, except intensified. More enthusiastic, more genuine. "God, I wish you were here," she whispers to the camera, and there's something in her voice I haven't heard in months. Pure want. Unguarded desire. She's performing for him in our bed using responses she used to reserve for me. I watch the entire 37 seconds. Then I watch it again, this time studying the technical details. The timestamp shows it was recorded last Saturday evening while I was at my brother's house helping him set up his new computer. The angle suggests she propped the phone against something on my side of the bed, my nightstand, probably on top of the book I'm currently reading. She smiled at the camera at the end, a secret, satisfied smile I've never seen directed at me. I scroll through the rest of their conversation, looking for more videos, more photos, more evidence of the parallel relationship she's been conducting. There are pictures, nothing explicit, but intimate in ways that feel more violating than nudity. Sarah laughing in a coffee shop I don't recognize. Sarah in workout clothes that are too nice for the gym. Sarah wearing the perfume I first noticed in October. Each image is time-stamped and geotagged. I make note of the locations, the dates, the progression of their relationship. Not because I'm planning to confront her with this evidence, but because I need to understand the full scope of what I'm dealing with. I find a message from him that makes my vision narrow. "Your husband seems like a nice guy. Too bad he doesn't appreciate what he has." Her response, "He doesn't see me the way you do." And then, "Sometimes I think he wouldn't even notice if I just disappeared." This cuts deeper than the video, deeper than the photos. Not because it hurts, I'm past feeling hurt, but because it reveals how fundamentally she's misunderstood our entire relationship. I notice everything. I've been noticing her absence for months. I scroll to the bottom of their conversation, to today's messages. "Can't wait for Saturday," from him at 2:15 p.m. "I have something special planned," from her at 2:47 p.m. "Should I bring protection?" from him at 3:03 p.m. "Already taken care of," from her at 3:05 p.m. I checked the timestamp on that last message. She sent it while I was in a meeting with my team lead, discussing optimization strategies for the quarterly server migration. While I was thinking about improving system efficiency, she was planning another Saturday morning that has nothing to do with the gym. The bathwater is still running upstairs. I hear Sarah moving around, probably lighting the candles she keeps on the bathroom windowsill. She'll be in there for at least 30 minutes, maybe longer if she decides to wash her hair. I forward the video to my personal email account, along with several of the more incriminating text exchanges. Not because I'm planning to use them immediately, but because I believe in backup systems, data preservation, ensuring important information doesn't get accidentally deleted. Then I delete the forwarded messages from her sent folder and clear the recent activity log. I'm careful to remove any trace that someone else accessed these files. When I'm finished, her phone looks exactly the way it did when I picked it up. I set it back on the counter in the exact position where she left it, screen down, slightly overlapping the edge of her car keys. Then I go to my office and open my laptop. I update the spreadsheet with today's findings, creating new columns for message frequency, video evidence, and location data. The patterns are even clearer now. Saturday mornings aren't the only times they meet. There are lunch dates, evening coffee runs, and what appears to be a regular Thursday afternoon schedule that corresponds with when I work late. She's been living a double life for 3 months. Not just having an affair, but conducting an entire relationship with someone who knows about me, knows about our marriage, and doesn't care that he's helping her destroy it. I close the laptop and sit in the dark office, listening to the sounds of her bath routine above me. Water draining from the tub, her footsteps moving from bathroom to bedroom, the soft thud of drawers opening and closing as she gets ready for bed. In a few minutes, she'll come downstairs and ask if I'm ready to watch television. She'll curl up next to me on the couch, maybe put her head on my shoulder, and we'll go through the motions of being a married couple while she texts with Jay and plans Saturday's next deception. But now I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I have documentation, evidence, and a clear understanding of how long this has been going on. I have enough information to make informed decisions about what comes next. I don't feel betrayed anymore. I feel equipped. And tomorrow, I'm going to start planning my response. The lie comes on a Wednesday evening in late January. Sarah sets down her coffee cup and adopts the expression she uses when she's about to deliver carefully rehearsed information. "My sister called today," she says, not quite meeting my eyes. "She's got that flu that's been going around. Asked if I could drive up and help her out this weekend." I look up from the technical manual I'm reading. "Which sister?" "Jenny. She's really struggling, and you know how she gets when she's sick." I know Jenny gets demanding and dramatic when she has a head cold, but I also know she lives in Columbus, which is 3 hours north, not exactly a quick weekend trip. I also know Sarah's phone didn't ring today while we were both home, and the last text from Jenny in her phone was 2 weeks ago about their mother's birthday plans. "When would you leave?" I ask. "Friday after work. Probably stay through Sunday morning." Friday, tomorrow. Very short notice for someone who's been sick long enough to need weekend care. "Want me to come with you? I could help out," I offer. She shakes her head quickly. "No, that's okay. She's pretty contagious right now. No point in both of us getting sick." I nod and return to my manual. "Let me know if she needs anything." "You're sweet. I'll probably be pretty busy taking care of her, so I might not text much," she adds. Another detail she doesn't need to provide unless she's establishing an alibi. After she goes to bed, I retrieve the small GPS tracker I ordered online last week. It's designed for elderly parents who wander, about the size of a quarter, with a battery life of 36 hours. I've been carrying it in my pocket, waiting for the right opportunity. I slip outside and pop the trunk of her Honda. The spare tire well is perfect, hidden but accessible to GPS signals. I nestle the tracker between the tire and the plastic housing, somewhere she'd never notice even if she had to change a flat tire. The device syncs to an app on my phone. I test it by walking to the end of our driveway. The blue dot moves accordingly. Technology is reliable in ways people aren't. Thursday evening, Sarah packs an overnight bag with the kind of thoughtful preparation you'd use for a romantic weekend, not nursing a sick sister. I watch her fold lingerie that I haven't seen in months, pack the expensive perfume she's been using for grocery runs, and include a dress that's entirely inappropriate for someone planning to clean up after an invalid. "You're packing pretty nice clothes for a sick room," I observe. She doesn't look up from her suitcase. "I might stop by Mom's on the way back. You know how she is about appearances." Another explanation that answers a question I didn't ask. Friday afternoon, I'm in a meeting when my phone buzzes with a movement notification. Sarah's car is on Highway 71, heading north toward Columbus just like she said. For a moment, I almost feel guilty for tracking her. Maybe she really is visiting Jenny. Maybe I've become paranoid and suspicious over nothing. But 20 minutes later, the blue dot exits the highway at Route 23, heading east instead of continuing north. She's not going to Columbus. She's going to a small suburb called Worthington, about 45 minutes from our house. I excuse myself from the meeting and watch the tracker in real time from my office. The dot moves through residential streets before stopping at 847 Maple Drive. I switch to satellite view on my laptop. It's a modest two-story house with a detached garage and mature trees that provide privacy from the neighbors. The dot stays there for 6 hours. I leave work at my normal time, drive home, and eat dinner alone while monitoring her location. Still at 847 Maple Drive. Still there when I go to bed at 11 p.m. Saturday morning, I check the app as soon as I wake up. The dot hasn't moved. She spent the night there. I make coffee and sit at the kitchen table, studying the satellite image of the house where my wife is currently sleeping with someone else. The property records show it belongs to James Mitchell, age 38, divorced, works as a regional sales manager for a medical device company. James. J. I zoom in on the house details. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, built in 1987, assessed value of $178,000. Recently renovated based on the fresh roof and new siding visible in the satellite imagery. A starter home for someone building a new life after a divorce. The blue dot starts moving at 9:17 a.m. I track it to a Starbucks 3 blocks away, where it stays for 47 minutes. Then to a Target where they spend an hour and 15 minutes. Then back to 847 Maple Drive. They're not hiding. They're having a normal weekend together, running errands like a couple. The casualness of it bothers me more than the secrecy. She's not just having an affair, she's test driving a replacement life. I spend Saturday doing normal weekend activities while monitoring her location. I mow the lawn, I do laundry, I grocery shop and pick up my dry cleaning. Domestic tasks that feel surreal when performed while tracking your wife's adultery in real time. The blue dot doesn't move from Maple Drive for the rest of Saturday. Sunday morning at 8:43 a.m., she finally starts heading home. I watch her progress on the highway, calculating her arrival time based on traffic patterns. She'll be here in 55 minutes, which gives me time to finish the preparations I started yesterday. I retrieve the baseball bat from the garage. It's aluminum, regulation size, left over from my college intramural league. I haven't touched it in 15 years, but the weight feels familiar in my hands. Balanced, purposeful. I'm not planning to use it on Sarah. She's not the one I'm angry with. She's just someone who made a choice and will have to live with the consequences. But James Mitchell made a choice too. He chose to pursue a married woman, to help her lie to her husband, to be intimate with her in a bed while knowing exactly whose marriage he was helping destroy. That choice requires a response. I drive to Worthington, following the same route the GPS tracker took yesterday. 847 Maple Drive looks exactly like the satellite images. Modest, well-maintained, the kind of place where a divorced man might rebuild his life until someone else's wife decides to blow it up. Sarah's Honda is in the driveway next to a red Toyota Camry. The curtains are drawn, but there's movement behind them. Shadows passing by windows. I park 2 houses down and check the time. 10:23 a.m. They're probably having breakfast, maybe planning their last few hours together before she has to return to her performance as my wife. I don't feel nervous as I walk up the driveway. I don't feel rage or betrayal or any of the emotions I expected. I feel the same calm focus I bring to solving technical problems. A system has been compromised, and now it needs to be restored. I don't knock. The front door is unlocked. Either they're incredibly careless, or they're so comfortable in their deception that basic security doesn't occur to them. I turn the handle and step inside, closing the door quietly behind me. The house smells like coffee and bacon and the lingerie Sarah packed Thursday night. Domestic bliss with a side of betrayal. I hear voices from the kitchen, Sarah laughing at something, the low rumble of a man's response. They're around the corner, probably sitting at a breakfast table, probably touching each other in ways that used to be reserved for me. I adjust my grip on the bat and walk toward the sound. Sarah sees me first. She's wearing a robe I don't recognize, sitting cross-legged in a kitchen chair with a coffee mug halfway to her lips. The expression on her face shifts from contentment to confusion to horror in the span of 2 seconds. "Caleb?" Her voice is small, uncertain. "What are you? How did you?" James Mitchell is exactly what I expected. Mid-30s, athletic build, the kind of aggressive handsomeness that comes from good genetics and regular gym attendance. He's wearing boxer shorts and a t-shirt, comfortable in his own space, completely unprepared for consequences. He stands up slowly, his eyes focused on the bat in my hands. "Hey, man, let's just talk about this," he says, raising his palms in what he probably thinks is a calming gesture. "I know this looks bad, but sit down," I tell him. My voice is quieter than I expected, controlled, almost conversational. He doesn't sit. Instead, he takes a step toward me, and I can see the calculation in his eyes. He's bigger than me, probably stronger, and he thinks he can de-escalate this situation through physical presence and reasonable conversation. He's wrong about that. The first swing catches him in the ribs, just below his left arm. The sound is sharp and wet, bone meeting aluminum with enough force to crack something important. He doubles over immediately, gasping, and I hear Sarah scream behind him. "Sit down," I repeat. This time he complies, collapsing into the chair he just vacated. His face is pale and there's sweat beading on his forehead. He's holding his side like he's trying to keep his ribs from separating. "Please," Sarah says, and her voice sounds like it's coming from very far away. "Please don't. He didn't know." "He didn't know what?" I ask, still looking at James. "That you're married? That you have a husband who pays the mortgage on the house you've been lying about leaving?" James opens his mouth to say something, but I'm not interested in his explanation. The second swing is more precise, aimed at his right knee with the mechanical efficiency of a golf drive. The sound it makes is different from the ribs, more of a wet crack followed by his scream. He topples sideways off the chair, hitting the kitchen floor hard. Both hands go to his knee, and I can see bone fragments visible through the torn skin. He's not getting up anytime soon. Sarah is sobbing now, pressed against the refrigerator like she's trying to melt into it. "Stop. Please stop. I'll do anything." "You've already done everything," I tell her. "This isn't about you." I look down at James, who's curled in a fetal position, making sounds that aren't quite words. Blood is pooling under his leg, spreading across the kitchen tiles in a pattern that's almost artistic. "Here's what's going to happen," I say, loud enough for both of them to hear. "Sarah is going to pack her things and come home with me. You're going to call 911 and get your leg fixed, and then you're going to forget her phone number." James nods frantically, still clutching his destroyed knee. "If you contact her again, phone, email, showing up at her work, anything, I'll come back and finish what I started. Do you understand me?" Another nod. Tears are mixing with the sweat on his face now. "Good." I turn to Sarah, who's still pressed against the refrigerator like a trapped animal. Her robe has come partly open, and I can see the marks on her neck and chest, evidence of a passion she hasn't shown me in months. "Get dressed," I tell her. "We're leaving." She stumbles toward what I assume is the bedroom, stepping carefully around James's blood. I hear drawers opening, the rustle of clothes being pulled on hastily. James is trying to say something, but the words are coming out as gasps and whimpers. I lean down closer to hear him. "I'm sorry," he manages. "I didn't..." She said what? That I wouldn't care? That I wouldn't find out? That I'm the kind of man who just accepts being humiliated? He doesn't answer, probably because his leg is broken in multiple places and he's going into shock. "You were wrong about that," I tell him. Sarah reappears wearing jeans and a sweater, her overnight bag clutched in her hands. Her face is streaked with tears and mascara, and she looks nothing like the woman who was laughing over breakfast 10 minutes ago. "Let's go," I say. She follows me to the front door without speaking. Behind us, James has managed to reach his phone and is dialing 911 with shaking fingers. In the driveway, Sarah stops next to her Honda. "I can't. My hands are shaking. I can't drive," she says. I take her keys and toss them into the passenger seat of my car. "Leave it. You can get it later." Or not. I don't really care if she ever sees that car again. The drive home takes 25 minutes. Sarah cries for the first 10, then sits in silence for the rest. I don't attempt conversation. There's nothing left to discuss. The data has been collected, the problem identified, and the initial response implemented. When we pull into our driveway, she finally speaks. "Are you going to... What happens now?" I turn off the engine and look at her. Really look at her. Probably for the last time as my wife, rather than as evidence in a divorce proceeding. "Now you pack your things and find somewhere else to live." "But I thought, if I came home, I thought we could..." "You thought wrong." I get out of the car and walk toward the house, leaving her sitting in the passenger seat. I have work to do, lawyers to call, papers to file, a new life to begin. Behind me, I hear her car door open, her footsteps on the driveway. But I don't look back. I'm done collecting data about Sarah's behavior. I already know everything I need to know. I file for divorce on Monday morning at 8:15 a.m., exactly 37 minutes after the courthouse opens. The lawyer I chose specializes in high-conflict cases involving adultery, which makes the consultation efficient. I provide the forwarded text messages, the GPS tracking data, and a written timeline of Sarah's deception. He reviews everything with the detached professionalism of someone who's seen this particular betrayal countless times before. "This is comprehensive," he says, scrolling through the evidence on his tablet. "Almost clinical in its thoroughness." "I believe in documentation," I reply. "It shows. With this level of proof, she's not going to have much leverage in negotiations." I nod. I'm not interested in leverage or negotiations. I'm interested in efficiency and finality. While he prepares the initial paperwork, I handle the financial logistics. I freeze our joint checking account, remove Sarah's name from the savings account, and transfer my 401k into an individual account. By noon, she has access to exactly what she brought into the marriage 5 years ago, her personal checking account, and whatever equity she can claim in the house she won't be living in anymore. I stop by the bank to close our joint credit cards and safety deposit box. The bank manager expresses sympathy for my situation with the kind of practiced concern that suggests divorcing customers are a regular part of her Tuesday routine. "These things are never easy," she says, processing the paperwork. "No," I agree. "But they're necessary." I spend the afternoon assembling a folder. Manila, letter-sized, the kind I use for project documentation at work. Inside, divorce papers, account closure notifications, a list of which belongings are legally hers versus community property, and a business card for the attorney I've retained to represent her interests. The last item is a letter I type on my laptop, printed on plain white paper without letterhead or formatting. Clean. Director. Final. Sarah. I know about James Mitchell. I know about Saturday mornings, Thursday afternoons, and the lies you've been telling for 3 months. I have documentation of your relationship, including text messages, photographs, and video evidence. I've filed for divorce citing adultery and irreconcilable differences. The papers in this folder explain your legal options and financial obligations. You have until Friday to sign and return them, or this becomes a contested proceeding that will be significantly more expensive in public for both of us. You're welcome to retrieve your personal belongings while I'm at work this week. Coordinate with my attorney to schedule a time. Do not bring James or anyone else I don't know. After Friday, All communication between us goes through lawyers. Caleb. No, dear Sarah. No, I hope you understand. No emotional appeals or expressions of hurt feelings. Just information and instructions. When Sarah returns from work Monday evening, I'm sitting at the kitchen table with the folder positioned exactly where she sets her purse each day. She sees it immediately but pretends she doesn't, going through her normal routine of hanging up her coat and checking the mail. "How was your day?" she asks, her voice carefully neutral. "Productive. You should look at that folder," I tell her. She glances at it like it might be explosive. "What is it?" "Everything you need to know about what happens next." She sits down across from me and opens the folder with the hesitant movements of someone defusing a bomb. I watch her face as she reads the divorce papers, the financial statements, the letter. Her expression shifts from confusion to recognition to something that might be relief. "You're really doing this," she says after reading everything twice. "Yes." "Because of James? Because of what happened yesterday?" "Because of 3 months of lies. James was just the evidence." She closes the folder and looks at me directly for the first time in weeks. "I never meant for it to happen this way." "How did you mean for it to happen?" I ask. She doesn't have an answer for that, probably because she never thought beyond the immediate gratification of having someone else's attention. No exit strategy, no plan for when the deception became unsustainable. Just the assumption that she could manage both relationships indefinitely. "I made a mistake," she says finally. "You made a choice. Multiple choices, over multiple months. This is the consequence. But we could try counseling or—" "No." The finality in my voice stops her mid-sentence. She stares at the folder again, probably calculating whether there's any scenario where she doesn't have to sign those papers. "What about James? After what you did to him? What about him? He could press charges. Assault with a deadly weapon. He could, but he won't." I lean back in my chair, maintaining eye contact. "Because that would require him to explain why I was at his house on Sunday morning. It would require depositions and testimony about his relationship with my wife. It would require his employer and his neighbors and his ex-wife to know exactly what kind of man he is." Sarah's face goes pale as she realizes the implications. "He's not going to press charges," I continue. "He's going to have surgery on his knee, file an insurance claim for a home invasion, and pretend none of this ever happened. Just like you're going to sign those papers and pretend our marriage never happened." She opens the folder again, staring at the signature lines like they're written in a foreign language. "I need time to think." "You have until Friday." "That's not enough time to—" "It's more time than you gave me to think about James." She flinches like I've slapped her. Good. I want her to understand that this isn't a negotiation or a discussion. This is notification of a decision that's already been made. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. I stand up and walk toward the stairs, leaving her sitting at the kitchen table with the folder and the ruins of whatever future she thought she was building. "The lawyer's name is Patricia Chen," I say without turning around. "She's expecting your call tomorrow. Don't wait until Friday to contact her." I go upstairs and close the bedroom door. Below me, I hear Sarah crying. Not the controlled tears of Sunday morning, but the raw, ugly sobbing of someone whose carefully constructed lies have collapsed completely. I don't feel sorry for her. I don't feel angry at her. I don't feel anything except the satisfaction of a problem properly solved. On Friday morning, I find the signed papers on the kitchen counter next to her house keys. She's already gone. It's been 6 months. The house is quiet now. Too quiet, some would say. But for me, it's the first kind of peace I've felt in years. I've rearranged the furniture, painted the living room a color she used to hate. The silence isn't empty, it's honest. The divorce finalized last Tuesday. A thin white envelope arrived by mail. No courtroom drama, no last-minute pleading. Just my name, her name, and a judge's signature that made it all real. I stared at that paper longer than I should have. Not because I doubted it, but because it marked the exact moment she stopped having power over me. I folded it once, placed it in the same manila folder I had laid on the kitchen table that day, and tucked it in the back of my filing cabinet under closed chapters. She still tries. Left a note on my windshield once. Sent a box of my old shirts back with a letter tucked inside. I didn't open it. Didn't need to. I see her sometimes, at the grocery store alone, looking thinner, eyes always scanning like she's bracing for impact. She doesn't smile when she sees me. Just lowers her gaze. James Mitchell? Word got around. He lost his job after HR got wind of the incident. I don't know where he is now. I don't care. He walks with a limp. That's all I need to know. Some people say I went too far. That a baseball bat and silence that deep must come from hatred. But they're wrong. I didn't do it out of hatred. I did it because I refused to carry her mess any longer. I didn't want revenge. I wanted my life back. And I took it. Quietly. Completely. Without asking anyone's permission. The house is mine now. I work the same job, drive the same routes, shop at the same stores. But everything feels different because I'm no longer performing the role of unsuspecting husband. I'm not analyzing conversations for hidden meanings or documenting suspicious behavior. I'm not carrying the weight of someone else's deception. I sleep through the night without checking my phone for evidence of new lies. I come home from work without wondering who she's been texting. The relief is profound in ways I didn't expect. I don't date. I'm not ready for that level of trust. Maybe I never will be. But I'm okay with that possibility. Better to be alone and honest than partnered and deceived. What I have now is better than what I lost, because what I have now is real. I come home to a house that belongs entirely to me. I sleep in a bed where no one has ever performed for someone else's camera. I make decisions based on my own preferences rather than managing someone else's reactions. This is what peace feels like. Not happiness. I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet. But peace. The absence of chaos. The presence of truth. Sarah wanted freedom. That's what divorce is. Absolute freedom from the constraints of marriage. I gave her exactly what she wanted. And in the process, I got exactly what I needed. The silence in my house isn't empty. It's honest. And for the first time in months, that's enough. No, I don't regret a damn thing. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.